If you have kidney disease, it's important to watch your intake of sodium, potassium, and phosphorus. Foods that contain high amounts include cola, brown rice, bananas, processed meats, and dried fruits. When your kidneys become damaged and cannot function properly, fluid can build up in your body, and waste can accumulate in your blood. Following a kidney-friendly diet and avoiding or limiting certain foods can help decrease the accumulation of waste products in your blood, improve your kidney function, and prevent further damage. Here are 17 foods you should try to limit or avoid on a kidney diet. 1. Dark-colored soda. In addition to the calories and sugar that sodas provide, they harbor additives that contain phosphorus, especially dark-colored sodas. Many food and beverage manufacturers add phosphorus during processing to enhance flavor, prolong shelf life, and prevent discoloration. Your body absorbs this added phosphorus more than natural, animal-based, or plant-based phosphorus. Unlike natural phosphorus, phosphorus in the form of additives is not bound to protein. Rather, it's found in the form of salt and is highly absorbable by the intestinal tract. Additive phosphorus can typically be found in a product's ingredient list. However, food manufacturers are not required to list the exact amount of additive phosphorus on the label. As a result, sodas, especially those that are dark, should usually be avoided on a renal diet. Dark-colored sodas should be avoided on a renal diet, as they contain phosphorus in its additive form, which is highly absorbable by the human body. 2. Avocados. Avocados are often touted for their many nutritious qualities, including heart-healthy fats, fiber, and antioxidants. While avocados are usually a healthy addition to the diet, they are considered one of the high-potassium foods to avoid with kidney disease. In fact, one average-sized avocado provides a whopping 690 milligrams of potassium. By reducing the portion size to 1/4 of an avocado, people with kidney disease can still include this food in their diets while limiting potassium, if needed. Avocados, including guacamole, should be limited or avoided on a renal diet if you have been told to watch your potassium intake. However, remember that different individuals have different needs, and your overall diet and health goals are the most important thing to consider. Consider avoiding avocados on a renal diet if a doctor or dietitian has advised you to lower your potassium intake. 3. Canned foods. Canned foods such as soups, vegetables, and beans are often purchased because of their low cost and convenience. However, most canned foods contain high amounts of sodium, as salt is added as a preservative to increase its shelf life. Due to the amount of sodium found in canned goods, it's often recommended that people with kidney disease avoid or limit their consumption. Choosing lower sodium varieties or those labeled, "no salt added," is typically best. Additionally, draining and rinsing canned foods, such as canned beans and tuna, can significantly decrease the sodium content. Canned foods are often high in sodium. Avoiding, limiting, or buying low-sodium varieties is likely the best to reduce your overall sodium consumption. 4. Whole wheat bread. Choosing the right bread can be confusing for individuals with kidney disease. For healthy individuals, whole wheat bread is usually recommended over refined, white flour bread. Whole wheat bread may be more nutritious, mostly due to its higher fiber content. However, white bread is usually recommended over whole wheat varieties for individuals with kidney disease. This is because of its phosphorus and potassium content. The more bran and whole grains in the bread, the higher the phosphorus and potassium contents. Eating one slice of whole wheat bread instead of two can help lower your potassium and phosphorus intake without giving up whole wheat bread entirely. Note that most bread and bread products, regardless of whether they're white or whole wheat, also contain relatively high amounts of sodium. It's best to compare the nutrition labels of various types of bread, choose a lower sodium option if possible, and monitor your portion sizes. White bread is typically recommended over whole wheat bread on a renal diet due to its lower phosphorus and potassium levels. All bread contains sodium, so it's best to compare food labels and choose a lower sodium variety. 5. Brown rice. Like whole wheat bread, brown rice is a whole grain that has a higher potassium and phosphorus content than its white rice counterpart. Each cup, 155 grams, of cooked brown rice contains 149 milligrams of phosphorus and 95 milligrams of potassium, while 1 cup, 186 grams, of cooked white rice contains only 69 milligrams of phosphorus and 54 milligrams of potassium. You may be able to fit brown rice into a renal diet, but only if the portion is controlled and balanced with other foods to avoid an excessive daily intake of potassium and phosphorus. Bulgur, buckwheat, pearled barley, and couscous are nutritious, lower phosphorus grains that can make a good substitute for brown rice. Brown rice has a high content of phosphorus and potassium and will likely need to be portion controlled or limited on a renal diet. White rice, bulgur, buckwheat, and couscous are all good alternatives. 6. Bananas. Bananas are known for their high potassium content. While naturally low in sodium, one medium banana provides 422 milligrams of potassium. If you have been instructed to limit your potassium intake, it may not be easy if a banana is a daily staple. Unfortunately, many other tropical fruits have high potassium content as well. However, pineapples contain substantially less potassium than other tropical fruits and can be a more suitable yet tasty alternative. Bananas are a rich source of potassium and may need to be limited on a renal diet. Pineapple is a kidney-friendly fruit, as it contains much less potassium than certain other tropical fruits. 7. Dairy. Dairy products are rich in various vitamins and nutrients. They're also a high-protein food and a natural source of phosphorus and potassium. For example, 1 cup, 240 milliliters, of whole milk provides 205 milligrams of phosphorus and 322 milligrams of potassium. Yet, consuming too much dairy, in conjunction with other phosphorus-rich foods, can be detrimental to bone health in those with kidney disease. This may sound surprising, as milk and dairy are often recommended for strong bones and muscle health. However, when the kidneys are damaged, too much phosphorus consumption can cause a buildup of phosphorus in the blood, pulling calcium from your bones. This can make your bones thin and weak over time and increase your risk of bone breakage or fracture. It may be important to limit dairy intake to avoid the buildup of protein waste in the blood. Dairy alternatives like unenriched rice milk and almond milk are much lower in potassium, phosphorus, and protein than cow's milk, making them a good substitute for milk while on a renal diet. Dairy products contain high amounts of phosphorus, potassium, and protein and should be limited to a renal diet. Despite milk's high calcium content, its phosphorus content may weaken bones in those with kidney disease. 8. Oranges and orange juice. While oranges and orange juice are arguably most well known for their vitamin C content, they're also rich sources of potassium. One large orange, 184 grams, provides 333 milligrams of potassium. Moreover, there are 458 milligrams of potassium in 1 cup, 240 milliliters, of orange juice. Given their potassium content, oranges and orange juice likely need to be avoided or limited on a renal diet. Grapes, apples, and cranberries, as well as their respective juices, are all good substitutes for oranges and orange juice, as they have lower potassium content. Oranges and orange juice are high in potassium and should be limited to a renal diet. Try grapes, apples, cranberries, or their juices instead. 9. Processed meats. Processed meats have long been associated with chronic diseases and are generally considered unhealthy due to their preservative contents. Processed meats are meats that have been salted, dried, cured, or canned. Some examples include hot dogs, bacon, pepperoni, jerky, and sausage. Processed meats typically contain large amounts of salt, mostly to improve their taste and preserve flavor. Therefore, it may not be easy to keep your daily sodium intake to less than 2,300 milligrams if processed meats are abundant in your diet. Additionally, processed meats are high in protein. If you have been told to monitor your protein intake, it's important to limit processed meats for this reason as well. Processed meats are high in salt and protein and should be consumed in moderation on a renal diet. 10. Pickles, olives, and relish. Pickles, processed olives, and relish are all examples of cured or pickled foods. Usually, large amounts of salt are added during the curing or pickling process. For example, one pickle spear can contain around 283 milligrams of sodium. Likewise, there are 244 milligrams of sodium in 2 tablespoons, 30 grams, of sweet pickle relish. Processed olives also tend to be salty, as they're cured and fermented to taste less bitter. 5 green pickled olives provide about 211 milligrams of sodium, a significant portion of the daily amount in only a small serving. Many grocery stores stock reduced sodium varieties of pickles, olives, and relish, which contain less sodium than their traditional counterparts. However, even reduced sodium options can still be high in sodium, so you will still want to watch your portions. Pickles, processed olives, and relish are high in sodium and should be limited on a renal diet. 11. Apricots. Apricots are rich in vitamin C, vitamin A, and fiber. They're also high in potassium. Each cup, 165 g, of fresh, sliced apricots provides 427 milligrams of potassium. This means that just 1 cup of dried apricots provides 75% of the 2000 milligrams low potassium restriction. It's best to avoid apricots and, most importantly, dried apricots on a renal diet. Apricots are a high potassium food that should be avoided on a renal diet. They offer over 400 milligrams per 1 cup, 165 g, raw, and over 1,500 milligrams per 1 cup, 130 grams, dried. 12. Potatoes and sweet potatoes. Potatoes and sweet potatoes are potassium-rich vegetables. Just one medium-sized baked potato, 156 grams, contains 610 milligrams of potassium, whereas one average-sized baked sweet potato, 114 grams, contains 542 milligrams of potassium. Fortunately, some high-potassium foods, including potatoes and sweet potatoes, can be soaked or leached to reduce their potassium contents. In fact, some research suggests that boiling potatoes can significantly decrease their potassium content, especially if you start with cold water. Although double cooking potatoes lowers the potassium content, it's important to remember that their potassium content isn't eliminated by this method. Considerable amounts of potassium can still be present in double-cooked potatoes, so it's best to practice portion control to keep potassium levels in check. Potatoes and sweet potatoes are high-potassium vegetables. Boiling or double-cooking potatoes can significantly reduce their potassium content. Like, share, subscribe and comment.